right. Looks like we're live. It will be Andre Pallante facing the Phillies today. And I will go through the lineups in just one moment. Just got to get this thing underway. Make sure we're live. Okay, here comes Bryson Stott for the first pitch of the game. And it's in there. A four-seamer right down the middle for strike one on Bryson Stott. The Phillies are starting with Stott leading off. It'll be Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Castellanos, Max Kepler, Alec Boehm, Brandon Marsh, and Marchand behind the plate. So no real Muto today. As Pallante misses outside with the second pitch, 1-1 on Stott. Most of the Phillies have hit Pallante pretty well. As here's the 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2. A lot of these guys hitting about 500 against Pallante, so it's way above league average. It's a little scary, but you hope Pallante can settle in, as he's a better pitcher now than he was when he faced them the first time. Here's the 1-2 to Stott. Missed just a little up and away, 2-2. Let's make sure this is all good. It is. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Stott from Pallante. Ground ball to the right side. Not Donovan. Play made by Sajasi, and there's one out in the first, so that's a cue for me to go ahead and figure out this defense. Donovan is the DH today, so it is Nootbaar in left, Walker in right, and Victor Scott in center. That's as usual. Donovan at DH, Arenado at third, Burleson at first, Sajasi at second, Wynn at short, and Pedro Pajes behind the plate. First pitch to Trey Turner, in there for a strike, 93 on the outside corner. Turner hitting .270 this season, 1 home run, .777 OPS, so that's very solid. Pallante delivers the 0-1, and it's in there for strike two with a slider on the outside corner, so dotting up a couple good pitches there. Pallante's been one of the better pitchers for the Cardinals this season, 3.72 ERA, and a pretty consistent pitcher overall. The 0-1 to Turner. Actually, that's the 0-2. Bounce to the knuckle curve, 1-2. Sometimes this graphic doesn't update, and I just read instead of think. That's what happened there. Taking on the Phillies today. They're always an exciting team to watch. Here is the 1-2 to Turner. Bouncing ball up the middle. Mason Wynn charges and throws and gets him by half a step at first. Good play by Mason Wynn. Obviously, he has that rocket of an arm. That's why he was able to make that play. If you look at the way that the Cardinals set up their lineup today, putting Walker second is unorthodox. Usually you see Contreras up there. I guess Contreras won't be playing today with Donovan at DH. So Contreras getting a day off while he's been struggling. Makes a little bit of sense. Here's the first pitch to Bryce Harper. He is low and away with a knuckle curve, 1-0. Harper's one of the most dangerous hitters in the game. Has an .844 OPS with 2 home runs in 12 games this season. .267 batting average. The 1-0 pitch to him. Missed low and away with a fastball, 2-0. Harper has a very dangerous stance as well when you see him up there hitting. The 2-0 pitch from Pallante is in there for a strike, and they do not call it, so it is 3-0. I think that's because he missed his spot. The catcher had to go inside to catch that ball. And so they might as well put him on here, but here's the 3-0 pitch to Harper. You know he has the green light. And a fastball up and in for a strike, 3-1. Harper didn't like it. Well, he didn't like swinging at that pitch. He went ahead and took it. It would be Schwarber on deck if Harper is able to reach. The 3-1 pitch to Harper. He is a fastball up and in, and that one missed. So it is ball 4. First walk of the game, first base runner for the Phillies, and there will be 1 on and 2 outs in the first for Kyle Schwarber. First pitch to Schwarber, in there for a strike, 94. Just the fastball that time. Schwarber has some of the highest 3 true outcome percentage since 1908. Judge is going to be number 1. And Schwarber is second of the active players. Here's the 0-1. Missed inside with a fastball, 1-1. Schwarber has a 1.15 OPS on the season with 6 home runs in just 12 games. That's pretty incredible. The 1-1 pitch to Schwarber. Slider just missed up and away, and it's 2-1. Schwarber commands the zone pretty well. There are a couple of former Cubs in this lineup, Schwarber and Castellanos, who are hitting back-to-back in the lineup. The 2-1 pitch from Pallante. Pulled hard down the right field line for a base hit. Walker charges in. Keeps Harper at second. And there are 2 on and 2 outs now in the first for Nick Castellanos. Schwarber was able to just wrap his bat around that one. Nothing too complicated. Just a fastball on the inside part of the plate, and Schwarber was able to get the barrel around to it. So 2 on, 2 outs on Pallante. Pitch 19 of the inning. First pitch to Castellanos. As Harper and Schwarber get away with a double steal and are able to make the steal happen. So that was a very big pitch. Now there are runners on second and third. You saw Pajes try to take the behind runner. He tried to get Schwarber at second, but the throw was off. It's a surprise tactic. Something never would have happened with Yachty, but that's okay. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Missed low with the slider, 2-0. So maybe they had something on Pallante, or maybe they just thought they could catch Pajes off guard. Either way, it worked out. Here is the 2-0 pitch to Castellanos with 2 runners in scoring position. And it's hit hard into right field, but Walker is able to charge in and make the catch. And so Pallante gets out of it with a couple base runners allowed, but no damage done. It'll be Nootbaar, Walker, Donovan in the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at what Aaron Nola has done this season while we're in commercial. That's one reason to watch my thing, is if, here's some pictures of Nootbaar. Not what I was looking for, but we have the Pirates up. I'm going to grab the Phillies now because it is a new series. So we can take a look at this season and last season by Nola. Start by pulling up the 24 Phillies. Look at what Nola did over a full season. 3.7 WAR, 33 starts, the most in baseball. Almost 200 innings. Gave up the most home runs in the NL, it looks like. But he had a 1.14 ERA plus, 3.94 FIP. Still very good pitching, about 1.2 WHIP. And obviously the value accumulates when you do this every single day, as he does. So very, very solid starter. Let's go. Let's see if we can pull up. Oh, this is the wrong one. Let's go here. What is Nola doing this season? He has negative 0.1 WAR. Had a couple of bad starts, 2 losses. Got 10 strikeouts and 11 innings pitched. So he's averaging about 5 2/3. with a 6.35 ERA. So, I mean, it's not that bad. Just not a great start to the season for him, given what Nola usually gives you. Here's his history, all with Philadelphia. Obviously, I can't believe he didn't win the Cy Young. He was the WAR leader in baseball in 2018, so that's interesting. But all right. I'm sure the game's back pretty soon, so let's get ready for that. That's who the Cardinals will be facing, and the game is back, and it'll be Lars Nootbaar. Uh-oh, the game's delayed on my part, so we're going to have to catch up a little bit. All right, so the first pitch to Nootbaar, I'm going to just blaze through these, was outside, 1-0. Second pitch to Nootbaar, also outside with the fastball, 2-0. So Nola still trying to get settled in. The 2-0 pitch to Nootbaar, outside again. Missed 3 fastballs outside. It's 3-0 on Nootbaar. Pitch 4 was low but called a strike. So, I mean, it was in the zone. Caught the very bottom part of the zone. And finally, we are live again. Here is pitch 5 to Nootbaar. Up and in, ball 4. So Nola walks Nootbaar to start the game. And the Cardinals have an early base runner. Here comes Jordan Walker. It is Marsh in center, Kepler in left, Castellanos in right. Followed by Bohm at third, Trey Turner at short, Bryson Stott at second, Harper at first, and Marchand behind the plate. First pitch to Jordan Walker. Fastball in there for a strike. It was a sinker with a lot of arm side run. Tough pitch to hit if you are Walker. They're playing him to pull. Major gap on the right side of the field here. The 0-1 pitch to Walker. Swing and a miss. Fastball above the zone. On the inside part of the plate there. So he struggled to track that one and swung right under it. 0-2 on Walker. The 0-2. Strike 3, a sinker on the outside corner. Pitch Tracks had that a little bit outside, but an ump is usually going to give you that call right on that edge. So tough at bat for Walker. Nothing he could do about that one. 1 on and 1 out for Brendan Donovan. Donovan, one of the best hitters in the National League so far. .375 batting average with a .978 OPS. 2 home runs this season. First pitch to Donovan. Up and away for ball 1. So a little bit of an inside zone from this umpire so far. Donovan has 10 RBIs on the season. Trying to add to that number here in the bottom of the first. The 1-0 pitch from Nola. Knuckle curve driven to the left side of the field, but out of play, foul. 1-1. Donovan's been a good hitter since the day he was called up. So you expect good things in pretty much any at-bat from him. The 1-1 pitch from Nola. Upstairs, they try a back pick at first, but Nootbaar gets back safely. 2-1. Let's make sure we're live. Yeah, we were live, but hopefully it doesn't set us back. It did not. Perfect. Let's see what Marchand has for Nola on the 2-1 to Brendan Donovan. The pitch is upstairs, 3-1. Struggling to locate the sinker a little bit. And Donovan has a big advantage in this count. Donovan hitting 500 with base runners, with any runner on base this season. 8 RBIs in those situations. Here's the 3-1. Fly ball foul. 3-2. Donovan really wanted to hit that sinker, but hit it off the end of the bat. So the count is full on Donovan. It would be Arenado on deck, as long as there's no double play here. 1 on and 1 out. The 3-2 from Nola. Fouled back once again, so Donovan having a good at-bat. Nootbaar was trying to take a base there, so I guess there's a chance for a strike him out, throw him out, if they are able to get him with a fastball. I like the idea from Marmol. The 3-2 pitch again from Nola. Fastball right down the middle, fouled off once again by Donovan. And they sent Nootbaar again, and him and Trey Turner have a laugh at second base. Turner loving how often Nootbaar's having to run. So this will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat now. Once again, the 3-2 from Nola to Donovan. Instead, he checks on Nootbaar at first, so that'll be the first disengagement. Donovan gets settled back in. And here we go. The 3-2 to Donovan. A little low with the changeup, but he chased it, and that's strike 3 as Nootbaar steals second. So Nootbaar was on the move. They let him have second. Just take the strike out of Donovan with the changeup. Cardinals were looking to do a hit and run there, which meant Donovan was more likely to chase because you don't want to have a strike him out, throw him out on a fastball. So now you have a runner on second with 2 outs and Arenado at the plate. So that kind of served as a bunt in some ways, forcing the off-speed pitch, but it won't go down that way in the stat sheet. First pitch to Arenado, missed high, 1-0. So Nootbaar in scoring position. Arenado hitting .310 this season with an .872 OPS. The 1-0 to Arenado. He's a cutter outside, 2-0. Big chance for Arenado to pick up an RBI here. He is 6 for 27, which is .222 in his career against Aaron Nola. He does have a homer. The 2-0 pitch from Nola. Jam shot. Looks like it might drop. Nope. Trey Turner was able to get out there and make the catch. And so Nola shuts down the Cardinals with just the leadoff walk to Nootbaar. We go to the second, tied at 0. So it'll be Max Kepler, Bohm, and Marsh. So let's see what Kepler's been up to. Obviously, he's not a long-time Philly. So here's Nola. Let's go get Max Kepler. Kepler has 0.1 WAR so far this year, as you might expect in such a short sample size. He has a 107 OPS plus with 1 home run. So pretty solid. And then career, he's been pretty good. A lot of time in Minnesota. His whole career in Minnesota. Just a solid above average player. Hovering a little below league average OPS with a couple really good years. And so far, he's had a good year in Philadelphia. Last season, he only played 105 games. Had a 91 OPS plus, 8 home runs, 1 stolen base. for 1 WAR. So better than a replacement level player, no doubt about that. And then we should be able to go to the 24 Phillies to check on Marsh. 3.1 WAR last season, so a very good season for Marsh. 109 OPS plus. And Bohm. So you should be able to see Bohm as well. 3 WAR. Kind of a similar story. 117 OPS plus. Probably less value defensively. And we're back. So let's get back to the game. Hopefully it didn't delay us. It did. First pitch to Kepler. Was low, 1-0. And we're back to live. The 1-0 pitch from Pallante to Kepler is fouled back, 1-1. Kepler hitting .237 this season with a .724 OPS. So a little bit above league average. Looks like, does Pajas have a glove right now? Is he playing first base? What am I looking at? Pajas is playing second base. We're going to need an update on that. Ground ball to first. Play made by Burleson. That'll be out number 1. So Mason Wynn is out of the lineup now. So JC moved to shortstop, and Pedro Pajas has moved to second base. Pozo is into the game to catch now for the Cardinals. So you wonder what happened to Mason Wynn. Probably some sort of injury on that ground ball. I'm going to grab an update on that very soon. The first pitch to Bohm is inside, 1-0. I did put this back on, right? Yeah. That's a strike, 1-1 on Bohm. A slider caught the outside corner. The 1-1, swing and a miss on a slider, 1-2. So Mason Wynn was having spasms in his lower back, and that is why he was pulled. Weird to see Pajas playing in the infield, but we'll get used to it. The 1-2 missed low and away, 2-2. So Cardinals are committed to giving Contreras the day off, as Pozo is in the lineup now. Here's the 2-2. Missed low, 3-2. I don't think I've ever seen Pajas play second base, so that'll be an interesting aspect of this game. The 3-2 pitch from Pallante. In there, but fouled back. We'll do it again. The 3-2 pitch from Pallante is a strike. So strike 3, a 4-seam right in the zone, and there are 2 away now in the top of the second. So great pitch from Pallante, able to stay consistent and force Bohm to take strike 3 right down the middle. I guess we are also committed to keeping Donovan as a DH in this one. All right. Ground ball to the right side from Marsh, and that'll be out number 3. So a good inning from Pallante. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies. And here come Burleson, Pajas, and Scott in the bottom half of the second. So hopefully this Mason Wynn injury is not a long-term thing. Back spasm sounds like it could be just tonight, or it could be couple weeks. So hopefully he stays off the IL. We'll get an update if he gets placed on it. Wouldn't expect him placed on it tonight, obviously, as he can't be because he started this game. So no retroactive IL is possible. So we're hitting Pajes and Pozo against Nola today. I imagine there's not a whole lot of history there. What we can do is see what history there is. So you go to Aaron Nola versus batter on the roto wire. And then we can filter to minimum ABs of just one. And we can click by team and sort for the Cardinals. So here you have it. Arenado, 27 at-bats, the 620 OPS. Contreras won't be playing. Burleson just a 364 OPS on his 11 at-bats. So that's really, really bad. Walker, 2 for 6. Not bad at all. Herrera is 1 for 6. That's not going to matter. Donovan, 1 for 2. So that's excellent. 2,000 slug. So that must have been a homer. It was a homer. So that's good to know. Newt Bar 0 for 2. So is Scott. And Wynn will not be in the lineup. So that's all that there is to know. So that's interesting. All right, here comes Burleson. Burleson versus Nola. First pitch of the bottom of the second. Up and in, but he swung under it. 0-1. Burleson hitting .275 this season. Obviously, we saw he's 1 for 11 against Aaron Nola, so not a great history there. Here's the 0-1 from Nola. A little bit low. But they say he went around, which I do not agree with. 0-2 on Burleson. Thought he held up, but the ump at third base disagreed. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Nola. Ground ball up the middle for a base hit. So Burleson gets his second career hit off of Nola. And the Cardinals start the second straight inning with a runner on. So that's the first hit of the game for the Cardinals. Both teams have one. Pedro Pajes was able to make a play at second base last inning. That's always cool. I bet he never expected to be playing second at the major league level, but here he is. The first pitch from Nola to Pajes. So, strike one. Caught the bottom part of the zone. Just a sinker down there. And an 0-1 count with nobody out in the second. Second pitch to Pajes. Fouled back, 0-2. Pajes hitting .286 in 9 games this season with a .786 OPS and 1 home run. So it's possible that he could take Nola deep here, but you wouldn't really expect to see it. People are in long sleeves, so it must be a little chilly in St. Louis. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball up the middle. That one's through as well. Another base hit. They hold Burleson up at second. First and second, nobody out in the second. And that will bring up Victor Scott. Scott doesn't have much history against Nola, but it hasn't been good when he has faced him. But it is lefty-righty, and Scott's having the best season of his career. So, Cardinals do have a chance here. .286 hitter this season. .806 OPS. The first pitch from Nola to Scott. is bunted back foul. 0-1. He has 1 home run this season and 7 RBIs in 11 games. I like the idea of bunting, trying to scrape a couple runs around with Sajacy on deck. Sajacy's been a very valuable hitter at the bottom of the order. Here is the 0-1 pitch from Nola. A bunt, foul once again, so Scott unable to get the bunt down, and now he'll have to hit down 0-2 in the count. Scott is hitting .450 with an .800 slug against fastballs this season. Last season, he hit .222 with a sub .400 slug, so a massive difference so far. Obviously, you don't expect anyone to slug .800 against anything over the course of a whole season, but it's an excellent improvement so far this season. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Scott. Upstairs fastball, 1-2. Burleson on second, Pajes on first. The 1-2 to Scott. Hold foul, still 1-2. Making Nola throw a few more pitches here. The 1-2 once again is inside with the sinker. 2-2. That one brushed Scott back a little bit. Missed the plate by at least 6 inches there. And Scott steps back in. Here's the 2-2 from Nola. Swing and a miss. 4-seam fastball. Scott swung right under it. So you could see the spin rate of Nola's fastball in action there. Had a little bit of ride. And Scott was unable to keep up with it. 1 out, 2 on for Thomas Sajacy. Sajacy, being a very young player, has not faced Nola yet. Hitting .455 this season with a 1.144, but it's only in 4 games. He does have a home run in Fenway Park. First pitch to Sajacy. Strike 1 in the lower outside corner. So Nola getting settled in this second inning after a couple of base runners reached on singles. Infielders playing pretty traditional positions against Sajacy. A little bit of a hole to the right side, but nothing unusual. The 0-1 pitch to Sajacy. Fouled away to the first base side, 0-2. Cardinals are the best team in the majors when it comes to hitting with runners in scoring position. .295 batting average in those situations so far. Sajacy hitting .333 with 2 strikes, but it is early. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Nola. Upstairs, he went around. That's strike 3. Not a very good check swing from Sajacy there, and there are now 2 outs for Yohel Pozo, the substitute catcher. He has come in after Mason Wynn left the game at shortstop with an injury, which moves Sajacy and Pajes over, which meant Pajes moved to second base. So Pozo in his 1 game this season went 1 for 4 with a home run. And Marchand will meet with Nola to deliver the scouting report on Pozo. Just a couple of quick words. Pozo is a rather short hitter, from what I remember. So he is a candidate to walk if Nola is unable to find the zone. First pitch to Pozo. Outside, 1-0. Knuckle curve missed way outside there. Pozo just has the solo home run on his resume this season, but it's a lot better than nothing. The 1-0 pitch from Nola. In there for a strike, 1-1. That one caught the very lower outside corner of the plate there. Absolutely perfect pitch from Nola. Couldn't do that again if he tried. Here's the 1-1 to Pozo. Inside sinker, popped up. Easy play, and Stott gets out there to make it, and that will be the end of the second. So Nola is able to strand 2 singles, and we are still scoreless through 2 in St. Louis. So it'll be the top of the order for the Cardinals in the third, but first we got to watch the Phillies, and it'll be Marchand leading off this next inning for the Phillies. He was taken by the big league squad. He got a little bit of time last season as well. Let's see what he did. 0.7 WAR in 17 games, 894 OPS for a 147 OPS plus. That's 3 home runs in those 17 games. Excellent. 1 home run in less than every 6 games. So if you think about it like that, it's very, very good production. So that's why he made it over Stubbs, who was kind of a personality piece on their team last season. Obviously, it's great to have that guy in your locker room, but Marchand was producing, and he earned that spot. So let's see what Marchand was doing in the minors, which allowed him this opportunity. Whoops. So recently, last season in AAA, not perfect, but with the big league squad, he has an above average OPS plus, and AAA 2023, he was above average. A-ball, he absolutely crushes every single time. So it makes sense why he was able to make it up to the bigs. So let's go back. And let's get back to the game. I'm sure it's back by now. It is. So here comes Pallante to face Marchand. The first batter here in the top of the third for the Phillies. First pitch to him is upstairs, 1-0. Pallante on his 34th pitch of the game now. Marchand has a 200 batting average with a 756 OPS, so a lot of extra base hits, I guess. But that's just in 3 games. It is now 2-0. Pallante missed upstairs again. The 2-0 pitch from Pallante to Marchand. Pulled, but an amazing grab made by Burleson, and he tosses it to Pallante for the first out of the third. Very, very hard hit ball by Marchand, but a great play by Burleson. 1 out in the third, and that'll bring up Bryson Stott at the top of the Phillies order. Let's make sure we're live. All right. First pitch to Stott. Fastball right in there for strike 1, 0-1. Pajes still waiting at second base. Here's the 0-1. Popped up, left-hand side. Charging Nootbaar makes the catch as he falls into the netting for out number 2. So a great play by Nootbaar. Did not give up on that foul ball. Charged in and made a great running play. This is the type of value defense you expect out of the Cardinals, and I'm very glad Nootbaar was able to get over and make that play. 2 outs, and here comes Trey Turner. Pallante sitting on 37 pitches. Here's pitch 38, the first to Turner. Upstairs, 1-0. Trey Turner is 0 for 1 today with a ground out. Here's the second pitch from Pallante. Swing and a miss on a slider, 1-1. That one was inside and backed up right into the strike zone. Tough pitch to do anything with. The 1-1 to Trey Turner. Fastball right at the bottom of the zone, but they don't give it to him. 2-1. Turner is 10 for 38 on the season with a home run and 2 RBIs. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss on a fastball inside, 2-2. Cardinals have adjusted back to more of a standard defensive alignment. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Turner. Upstairs, foul tip. Oh no, I guess that was just off of the umpire. It'll be 3-2. Here's the full count pitch to Turner. Hit hard to right field, but nothing Walker can't handle. And there you go. Another 3-batter inning for Pallante. 1, 2, 3, go the Phillies. And it'll be Nootbaar, Walker, and Donovan at the top of the Cardinals order in the bottom of the third. Great outing so far. Let's get back to some stats. So, how is Nootbaar playing? Obviously, he's been getting on base a lot. He's been very, very good. But what does the OPS look like? 129 so far this year. So it's come down a little bit since the beginning of the year. Probably 130 after his walk in the first. It's funny, they don't have a nickname listed for Nootbaar, which is just crazy. So 13 for 48, 271. So that hot streak to start the year is coming down a little bit. But he's still on pace to put up way more WAR than he had in last season. He is starting with his fastest start of his career, 129 OPS plus. If he's able to keep it above 800, he would have the best season of his career. And that's a guy we are very excited about here. Obviously, you have Donovan in the third spot. 0.9 WAR. He's obviously been the best hitter on the Cardinals so far. 176 OPS plus. South Alabama alum. And Walker will be between them. Walker having the best year of his career as well. But we are back. So Aaron Nola going to be starting out the third inning against Lars Nootbaar. The first pitch from Nola. Fastball caught the bottom of the zone, 0-1. Great pitch from Nola to start out the at-bat. The 0-1. Knuckle curve inside, 1-1. So Nootbaar able to sniff that out before swinging. He did like the trajectory of the pitch initially, but was able to hold off. 1-1. Nootbaar obviously had the walk and the stolen base in the first inning. The 1-1 pitch to Noot. Inside, 2-1. That was the 40th pitch of the game from Nola. Here is the 2-1. Knuckle curve missed low and in, and it's now 3-1 on Nootbaar, so Nola being careful with him once again. Nootbaar hitting .360 this season with 2 strikes, but the count is 3-1, so don't know why they put that up. The 3-1 pitch to Nootbaar. Swing and a miss. Now it's relevant. Nootbaar swung right over a changeup on that one. And the count is full with nobody out in the third. Here is the 3-2 from Nola. Missed outside for ball 4. Nola really wanted that one, but it did miss the zone by just an inch. So Nootbaar has his second walk of the game, reaches base again, and here comes Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker making contact less than ever, 67% of the time, but hits it to the opposite field a lot more. The first pitch to Walker. Fouled off, 0-1. Walker hitting .275 this season. Has the potential to be excellent at the plate this year. They're shifting him to pole once again. So if he can just wait on one and drive it to the opposite field, that would be excellent. Here's the 0-1 to Walker. Fastball right in there. Nootbaar steals second, and the throw goes into center field, and he will advance to third. Excellent, excellent base running by Nootbaar. He saw that ball get by and didn't waste any time. Got right back to his feet and took the extra base on the errant throw by Marchand. So that moves Nootbaar to third with nobody out and an 0-2 count on Jordan Walker. Here is the pitch to Walker. Hit hard to right field. Charging Castellanos makes the play and delivers a throw to the plate, but Nootbaar did not come. So there's one out now and Nootbaar on third. So an unsuccessful at-bat by Walker, but Nootbaar was able to advance 2 spaces during that at-bat over to third base, and that is a lot of value. Second stolen base of the game for Nootbaar, and he advanced on an error. So here comes Brendan Donovan. He had a strikeout in the first. The infield is in, and here's the first pitch from Nola. Knuckle curve, missed a little outside, 1-0. This ump has a very strict outside part of the zone, and I like that he's accurate. Not missing any calls due to catcher framing so far in this one. Here is the 1-0 pitch to Donovan. Inside cutter, missed way off the plate, 2-0. Donovan is 7 for 15 with runners in scoring position this season. Had a chance in the first. Here's another chance for him in the third. The 2-0 pitch to Donovan. In there, popped up. Bohm tries to make a run at it, but the play is made by Turner, and Nootbaar is held up. And now there are 2 outs in the third, so the Cardinals are threatening to strand a runner after a pop-up a little bit out of the infield there, but nowhere near deep enough to score the runner from third. It'll be Arenado now with another chance to drive in Nootbaar. Actually, Donovan didn't have a runner in scoring position earlier. He just had Nootbaar on first, and Nootbaar was able to steal second as he struck out. Either way, runner on third, no score. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. First pitch to Arenado. Inside, 1-0. Arenado hitting .302 this season with an .854 OPS. Big opportunity here. The 1-0 pitch from Nola. Ground ball, Nola picks it up, tosses it to first, and we are through 3 with no score in St. Louis. Nola has battled back from a couple of dangerous situations and not given up any runs to the Cardinals. So it'll be Pallante against Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos in the fourth. This would be a good time to take a look at Bryce Harper. These guys have all had a lot of experience around the league. A couple of them with times with the Nationals, and a couple of them spent time with the Cubs. Harper, 0.4 WAR so far this year. A 141 OPS plus, so that's pretty dang good. But obviously it's first base, so they kind of discount that hitting. Obviously he had some MVP seasons. Had 9.7 league leading WAR in 2015. Was the best in all of these hitting stats. And he was the best in 2021 as well, as far as OPS goes. Silver Sluggers in a lot of seasons. A lot of All-Star appearances as well. When did he move to first base? Let's see. 2023. Last time he played in the outfield was 2022, and it was just the start of the season, I believe, before he tore that muscle. So a long career for Harper. We'll see him as the first hitter in this upcoming inning. Pallante just threw a strike to him. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Pallante to Harper. Inside 2-1. So Pallante's been very careful with Harper. There's an interview with Mizzou quarterback Brady Cook going on, but I can't cover that because I have no idea what he's saying. Here's the 2-1. Fouled away. 2-2. Harper had the walk in the first inning. And Pallante has carefully worked a 2-2 count against him here in the fourth. And a big chance to get this out. Here is the 2-2. Got him with a slider at the bottom of the zone, and he walked straight back to the dugout. 1 out in the top of the fourth. And that will bring up Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber has the only hit of the game for the Phillies, with his single in the first inning. Very hard hit rocket to right field. And he is hitting .298 on the season. First pitch to Schwarber. In there for a strike. 0-1. Schwarber and Harper had stolen bases in the first inning. Here's the 0-1. Ground ball. Play made at short by Sajasi. And a nice scoop by Burleson at first. 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Pallante approaching his 51st pitch of the game. Already thrown 50 here in the fourth inning. So not too bad. Not too inefficient. Rather efficient, even. Here's the first pitch to Nick Castellanos. Missed way low with a sinker. 1-0. Castellanos hitting .267 with 2 home runs so far this season. Had a line out in the first inning to right field. Here's the 1-0. Fouled off down the third base line on the slider. 1-1. Pallante has done a great job today. He's pulled his ERA down to 2.77. If he can keep it down that way without giving up more runs in this one. Here is the 1-1 to Castellanos. Hard hit ball to center field. Easy base hit for him. And that's the first base runner for the Phillies in the fourth. So it'll be 2 outs. Castellanos on first for Max Kepler. In that at-bat, Castellanos just waited for that slider to get to the plate, dropped the barrel on it, and dropped it into center field for a hit. No chance for any fielder to get to that ball. First pitch to Kepler. In there for a strike. Beautiful pitch on the inside corner. 0-1. Kepler is 9 for 39 on the season with 1 home run, 707 OPS. Here is the 0-1. Missed outside with the slider, 1-1. Kepler hitting from the left side. So that slider just failed to come back enough for Pallante. The 1-1 pitch. Fouled off. Down the third base line, 1-2. Kepler a little late on that fastball, but was able to make contact. The 1-2 pitch from Pallante to Kepler. Missed low and away with the knuckle curve, 2-2. Some interesting games going on around the league. The White Sox lead the Red Sox 7-0. Here is the 2-2. Nope, instead he checked on Castellanos at first. Pallante just making sure Castellanos isn't going anywhere. That's the first disengagement of the at-bat. Here is the 2-2 pitch to Kepler. Fouled off his foot. 2-2. Timeout called. Over in Houston, it is 1-1. The Astros tied with the Angels. The Twins have a 1-0 lead over the Tigers in Minnesota. The Marlins lead the Nationals 4-2 in Miami. And the Yankees trail the Giants 1-5 in New York. Here is the 2-2 pitch to Pallante. From Pallante. Struck out Kepler with a slider low and away. And Pallante is through 4. Still no score in St. Louis. It will be Burleson, Pages, Scott for the Cardinals in the fourth. Let's look at that last game I didn't mention. Tampa Bay leads Atlanta 6-3 in their temporary home, which is not Tampa Bay, but I forgot where their ballpark is located. Games that already happened. Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh 5-3, and Cleveland beat Kansas City 7-0. Let's see if Pages has any minor league experience at second base, or if this is something we haven't seen. Pedro Pages. Obviously, he's just a catcher at the big league level. I know this because I've watched most of the Cardinals games. Catcher, yep. I don't know what H3 is. Maybe he played a little bit of first base. But 3 is first base, not second base. Second base is 4. So let's see. Any time at a different position. Does it even say? Second base is not on his resume whatsoever. He played one game at first base for the Cardinals. Has not played second base at any level, even in college. So, very, very strange that the Cardinals would start Pages there. He might not even rotate on balls hit to the left side. Like, you never know how much second base the guy has played in his life. That'll be an interesting thing to watch for during this one. But Nola's first pitch to Burleson is inside, 1-0. Here is the 1-0 pitch. Fouled away, 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch from Nola to Burleson. Pulled hard foul down the right field line, 1-2. Ground ball foul once again. Still 1-2 on Burleson. Burleson 1 for 1 today. The hard hit single. And Nola gets set for his 56th pitch of the game. Here it is. A little low, 2-2. That one did catch the very bottom part of the zone, but he crossed up the catcher a little bit and did not get the call. So it's 2-2 on Burleson. And here is the pitch from Nola. Ground ball, easy play at second base. Flip to first, and Stott makes the play for the first out of the fourth. That'll bring up second baseman for the first time since high school, Pedro Pages. Pages hitting .310 this season. He has a single earlier in this one. First pitch to him. In there with a sinker for a strike. So misled him with that sinker. Great pitch by Nola. Cut the outside part of the zone. 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Cutter outside. 1-1. So Nola tried the sinker cutter combination. Pages was able to see the spin difference on that second pitch and take it for ball one. Here's the 1-1. In there for strike two. 1-2. So that was just a four seam right on that upper outside corner. 1-2. Pages hitting .310 on the season with an .828 OPS. Usually you'd expect him at catcher. Had to move to second base due to Wynn's injury. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss on the knuckle curve. A beautiful pitch from Nola. And Pages unable to recognize it. Chased it in the dirt for out number 2. And that will bring up Victor Scott with nobody on here in the fourth. Scott is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Left 2 men on base a couple innings ago. The first pitch to him. Inside, 1-0. Scott does not have a good history against Nola. He either has 0 or 1 hit in his career against him. Forgot which one it was. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Pulled to first base. Easy play for Harper. He'll step on the bag, and that will be out number 3. So through 4, it is still 0-0 in St. Louis. Due up for the Phillies. Let's see. It is Bohm, Marsh, and Marchand. So let's see what they've done. Obviously, Bohm is famous for saying he hates this place, talking about Philadelphia, but grown to love it. Bohm is having a very bad season so far, hitting 160. 356 OPS for an OPS plus of 2. Negative 0.6 WAR on the year. Raffy is his nickname. I didn't even know that. Maybe Raffy. He was an all-star last season. But just having an awful season this year. And he had a bad year in 2021 as well, in 115 games. So they're looking for more of the 2024 Bohm than the previous Bohm. So far, that's not what they're getting. Marsh also having a bad start to the year, hitting 129 with a 476 OPS. We already looked at Marchand, so we might as well look at Marsh. Obviously, he had a good year last year, I believe, but same thing, negative 0.5 WAR. Does have 1 home run, 2 runs scored, 4 RBIs, so not too bad, but definitely not helping the team win so far this year. 3.1 WAR and 3.4 WAR in back-to-back seasons in Philadelphia. So he's been very good as a Philly in the outfield. And let's see what these guys do at the plate, facing Pallante. Fly ball to right field. Bohm goes down for out number 1 in the 5th. So Pallante gets his first out quickly. First pitch, first out. And now it'll be Marsh. The first pitch to Marsh is a square around, but he pulled it back for strike 1. So that looked like a good swing from Bohm, but hit it over toward Walker. And now Marsh is down in the count 0-1. Missed inside with a fastball, 1-1. Pallante about to throw pitch number 63 in this 5th inning. Here's the pitch. Missed outside, 2-1. So Pallante having pretty good efficiency so far this game. Able to go pretty deep. Here's the 2-1. Missed upstairs, 3-1 now. So hopefully he can find the zone soon. Marsh has not been much of a threat at the plate this season. Obviously you expect him to pick that up pretty soon. The 3-1 from Pallante to Marsh. Missed downstairs, ball 4, and that will bring up Marchand. Marchand is a guy who has the potential to be a very good hitter. You really don't want to put guys on for free right in front of him. But he also doesn't look to be the fastest runner, so turning 2 might be a possibility. Here's the first pitch from Pallante to Marchand. Fouled the other way, 0-1. That was a fastball right down the middle. Rafael Marchand. Digging in from the catcher position. Batting 9th for the Phillies. In a 0-0 ball game in the 5th. Here is the 0-1 pitch from Pallante. He waited and he delivered, but missed inside, 1-1 with the 4-seam. Phillies really making Pallante throw strikes here. Nobody's going up there trying to do too much or trying to be too aggressive. Here is a pickoff attempt. It gets away from Burleson, and Marsh will advance to second base. So, not a good exchange there, and that puts a runner in scoring position. So just when you don't want to give away a free base, the ball gets away from Burleson, and having a slow runner in Pajes trying to fetch the ball did not help either. And so that puts Marsh on second. Very strange turn of events there. Here's the 1-1. Missed low and away, 2-1 on Marchand. Bryson Stott is awaiting on deck. Pallante trying to get settled. Here's the 2-1. Missed low and inside, 3-1 on Marchand. Rafael Marchand trying to make Pallante find the zone. He has thrown 69 pitches. A lot of those in this inning as he can't find the zone. Here's the 3-1 to Rafael. Ground ball to the right side. That'll advance the runner, but it's an easy out for Pajes at second base. And it will bring up Bryson Stott with 2 outs and a runner on third. So it's a big chance for both sides. Pallante could get out of this inning with no damage. And Stott could give the Phillies a 1-0 lead with one swing here. Bryson Stott is 2 for 7 with a home run this season, with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. So, a lot of those situations. Here's the pitch. Chopped foul, 0-1. Can't believe he has 7 sample size already with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, but it is the Phillies. They put base runners on all the time. They've won a lot of baseball games, and so base runners are how you do it. Here is the 0-1 pitch from Pallante to Stott. In there for a strike, 0-2. Fastball, lower inside corner. On the left-handed batting, Bryson Stott. He is 0 for 2 in this one. And stepping up to the plate with 2 outs and a runner on third. Obviously an 0-2 count. He's been a good hitter with 2 strikes, hitting .226 in these situations. The 0-2 pitch from Pallante. Fouled back, still 0-2. That one was upstairs in on the hands. Stott tried to get around to it. All he could do was foul it back. Playing more of a standard defensive alignment against Stott. So he's probably a guy who can put it anywhere on the infield. Here's the 0-2. Upstairs, he chops right around it for strike 3. So Pallante has worked through 5 of scoreless innings against the Phillies. A great outing so far from him. And it'll be Sajacy, Pozo, and Nootbaar for the St. Louis half of the 5th in a scoreless ballgame. So let's see some more of what Pozo and, well, I guess we've seen a lot of Sajacy. I want to see what Pozo has done at both levels. .236 OPS plus in the bigs. Obviously, it's just the home run. He did have quite a few plate appearances in 2021 for the Rangers. A 90 OPS plus with 1 home run. Only 3 walks in 77 plate appearances. That's crazy. That's something you can work with when you have a guy like him. Very small batter's box. I feel like you could work a lot of walks if you just foul pitches off. He might also benefit from the StatCast zone. Obviously, the StatCast counts anything that clips the corner, but when you're really short, there's no way for the ump to make you swing. You know, it would just be either it's a strike or it's not. All right, in the minors, he's been improving year after year. .974 at AAA in 2021. That's why he made it to the bigs. Fell back down to AAA. Still got into the 800s with the OPS at that level. One dotted it in 5 games with the Cardinals in the minors, and then they brought him up to the big leagues. So good job by Pozo. I bet the game's coming back soon. And it is. So here comes Sajacy. The first pitch from Nola to Sajacy. Swing and a miss. 4-seam at 89 at the bottom of the zone. Sajacy swung right under it. So it's 0-1 on Thomas. And here's the 0-1 pitch. Check swing, did not go, 1-1. Sajacy 5 for 12 with a homer this season. 1.051 OPS. It's a very good season. Nola throwing pitch 66. And here it is. Sajacy swings right over the knuckle curve, 1-2. In some of these at-bats, Sajacy looks a little outmatched by the big league stuff, and yet he's 5 for 12, so maybe he's a quick learner. That ball traveled a lot for his bat path. And here is the 1-2 from Aaron Nola. Another curveball. He pulled it fair down the third base line. Bohm tries to turn and misses the throw to first. But Sajacy was unable to advance as he had already run through the first base bag. So he just returned to the bag. 1 on, nobody out in the bottom of the 5th. He was going to beat that out no matter what, as it was a slow roller to third. Barely kept fair. Just hit the chalk right past the third base bag. So perfectly hit ball by Sajacy. And that will bring up Yoel Pozo, the man with a very small batter's box. First, a pickoff attempt. Nothing doing with that. With Sajacy on first, just getting him dirty. It's the first disengagement of this at-bat. Pozo had a pop out in the second. He's 1 for 5 with a homer on the season. The first pitch from Nola. Hit hard down the left field line. Fair. Up against the wall. It's going to be extra bases. Sajacy coming around third and scoring. And the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. Yoel Pozo delivers again. Had a home run a couple days ago in Pittsburgh. And now he drove Sajacy in. Sajacy was flying around the bases. And the Cardinals have a runner in scoring position with nobody out, and a chance to extend this 1-0 lead. That will bring up Lars Nootbaar. With nobody out and a runner on second. The first pitch from Nola to Nootbaar. In there for a strike with the knuckle curve. Nootbaar has 2 walks today. Took a very close pitch in his last at-bat. He also has 2 stolen bases, so he was able to get into scoring position both times. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Nola. Upstairs, Nootbaar drives it the other way for a base hit, and Pozo will only make it to third as that ball was right in front of him. Runners at the corners after a Nootbaar single, and Jordan Walker has a chance to extend this St. Louis lead. So a great job by Nootbaar staying on that one, driving it the other way. Not trying to do too much, just putting it where Bohm is not, as he was the only defender on the left side of the field. That ball was way above the zone, and Contreras laughed at Nootbaar, who was able to go up and get it. The first pitch to Jordan Walker. Sinker low and outside corner, 0-1. Beautiful pitch from Nola. Absolutely perfect location. But that would be a pitch Walker could drive the other way, and they are still playing him to pull. Here is the 0-1 pitch to Jordan Walker. They try the knuckle curve. He did not go around. 1-1. Walker just 11 for 41, which is solid. 268 average, but a 703 OPS is close to league average. Does have a home run this year. The 1-1 pitch from Nola. Nope. Checks on Nootbaar at first, so that's the first disengagement of this at-bat. Nola up at 72 pitches, still yet to record an out in the 5th. This will be pitch 73. Here is the pitch to Jordan Walker. Tried another sinker outside. That one fouled back by Walker. 1-2. So Walker's picking up on the trend of trying to catch that outside corner. Hitters do get much better against Nola as they face him more often. Third time through the order, they hit 385. Hopefully that trend continues. Here is the 1-2 pitch to Jordan Walker. A little low with the knuckle curve. 2-2 as Nootbaar steals second once again. So that's 3 stolen bases on the game for Lars Nootbaar. Leadoff hitter doing leadoff hitter things. As the knuckle curve was in the dirt there, no chance for the catcher to stop that one. As Nootbaar took off at the perfect time. Runners at second and third, nobody out as Nola steps off. Trying to settle down, facing Jordan Walker. 2-2 count, nobody out. Pitch 75. Nola delivers. Slider too low. No swing from Walker, and the count is full. Big chance to extend the lead for the Cardinals. Cardinals in their City Connect red uniforms, up against the Phillies in their traditional road uniforms. Both teams now have some patches, partnerships. Here is timeout from Jordan Walker. So icing Nola a little bit, trying to make him throw a strike after a long delay, with a full count here. Both guys get set. Jordan Walker digs in. Here is the 3-2 pitch, with 2 on. Missed outside, they call strike 3. Unbelievably bad call by the ump on a sinker, way outside. Ridiculous call, but it will be strike 3 on Walker. Good frame job by the catcher, but it looked like the ump just wanted to call Walker out and give Nola a pitch there. So he did. It is C.B. Buckner. No surprise there. Here is the first pitch to Donovan. Up and in, 1-0. C.B. Buckner has never been a fan of the Cardinals, and especially of manager Marmol. But hopefully that doesn't change the outcome of this one, as it should have been a walk. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Donovan. Missed low and in, and they call it a strike. Another absolutely ridiculous call from Buckner. And it is 1-1 on Donovan. Brutal call. I mean, it's not even close. You can't call that a strike. So Donovan trying to work around this umping. The 1-1. Up and in. 2-1. Exact same 4 inches off the plate that time, and the ump didn't call it a strike, so now he's inconsistent as well. Infield a little bit in on Donovan, which is a strange strategy given how good he's been. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Brendan. Swing and a miss on a knuckle curve. I assume he didn't know what to do in that spot because it could have been called a strike. It's now 2-2 on Donovan. Hopefully everybody can settle back in here. Nootbaar on second. Sajaci on third. Here's the 2-2. Not Sajaci. Pozo. Popped up foul, out of play. Still 2-2. Pozo on third, Nootbaar on second. Brendan Donovan at the plate, hitting .360 with a .940 OPS and 2 home runs on the season. Hopefully Buckner calls a fair game from this point forward. The 2-2 pitch to Donovan. They go low with the knuckle curve, and Donovan swings over it for strike 3. Great job by Nola. Pitching to his advantage with this umpire and with 2 on. So that'll be Arenado stepping up to the plate now with 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position in the 5th. Cardinals lead 1-0 with a chance to add to the lead here. The first pitch from Nola to Arenado. In there with a fastball, 93, 0-1. Arenado 13 for 44 on the season. It's a .295 average, .836 OPS. The Cardinals are 1 for 10 today with runners in scoring position. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Arenado. Missed inside, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Missed outside. 2-1. That was a cutter. These pitches are not close, so nothing that a strange zone could affect. They're playing Arenado to right center a little bit. Here is the 2-1 pitch to Arenado. A little low. 3-1. That was a changeup. If Arenado is able to reach, it would be Burleson on deck. Burleson, I believe, is 2 for 12 against, 2 for 13 against Nola in his career. Here's the 3-1 pitch to Arenado. Way outside with the knuckle curve, and that's ball 4. So the bases are now loaded with 2 outs in the 5th. After a couple of unfortunate plate appearances where the Cardinals were called out on strikes unjustly, Arenado was able to walk, and against Burleson, there's a meeting on the mound for the Phillies with their pitching coach. So Alec Burleson with a big chance to give the Cardinals a bigger lead in the 5th. All right. Nola returns to the mound. Burleson returns to the plate. Burleson is a career 3 for 20 with the bases loaded, as here's the first pitch from Nola. Upstairs, 1-0. Burleson is 1 for 2 today with a nice single. In the 2nd inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Nola. Chopped foul, 1-1. Burleson fouled that ball off his foot, hobbling around right now, getting ready to get back in the box. Caught him right on the top of the foot, the part that's closer to the ankle than the toe. So where that bone is on the top part of the foot, that's where it struck him. Here is the 1-1 pitch from Nola to Burleson. Missed low with the changeup, 2-1. Burleson is 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 4 RBIs, 1 extra base hit, no home runs yet with runners in scoring position. The 2-1 pitch to Burleson. Missed low again with a changeup, and there's nowhere to put him. 3-1 count. Aaron Nola on the mound. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Here is the 3-1 pitch with Pajes on deck. Outside, ball 4, and the Cardinals walk in a run as Aaron Nola cannot find the zone. Pozo scores, everybody moves up 1 bag, and Pedro Pajes will step up to the plate. I imagine against a new pitcher potentially. Nola has thrown 92 pitches and just walked a player with the bases loaded. Let's see. Nola calls time, gets set, and they're going to let him face Pajes. Pajes is 2 for 4 with the bases loaded in his career with 4 RBIs. Jose Ruiz is getting ready in the Philly bullpen. The first pitch to Pajes. Swung on and hit high to right field. Easy play for Castellanos. He makes it. And the Cardinals only score 2, but they do get a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. Could have been more, but there were some questionable calls by the umpire. Cardinals lead 2-0 after 5. It'll be Turner, Harper, and Schwarber against Pallante in the 6th. I can't get over that. Those pitches to Donovan and Walker, they were way off. Obviously, the umps will make the game about them a lot, but you don't see pitches like that very often. We can take a look at Trey Turner. He'll be leading off for the Phillies here. Triple T, Trey T. Triple Trey, I guess. That's crazy. 0.3 WAR. So far this year, above average hitting, 122. You don't expect anything less. Obviously, he started out with the Nationals, made his way to the Dodgers and the Phillies. He's been above average hitting his whole career, except for that first season in 27 games with Washington. Home runs have fluctuated, but have sat at around mid-20s with the, well, I guess in recent seasons, with the Phillies and Dodgers. Always been a very good, fast player. Hasn't been elite on the defensive side, but he's been good. And he's good so far this season, so no surprises with Trey Turner. Pallante put it in there for strike 1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Turner. Missed low with the slider, 1-1. Turner is 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a line out. And he's 10 for 39 on the season. The 1-1. Popped up. Over to the first base side. Walker charges in and makes the play. 1 out in the 6th. Pallante has been excellent today. And now he'll be facing Bryce Harper for the third time. He walked him, was able to get an out as well. Walk and a strikeout against Harper on an interesting call. Swing and a miss on a knuckle curve, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Pallante. Missed outside with another knuckle curve, 1-1. Bryce Harper's been very good against the Cardinals in his career, hitting .319 with a 1.019 OPS. Here's the 1-1 pitch to him. Inside, 2-1. And he missed outside with a slider, and now it's 3-1 on Harper, who has a chance to walk again. It would be Schwarber on deck if he does. The 3-1 pitch from Pallante. Hit high in the air to center field. Nootbaar charges and cuts off Scott for out number 2. So a good job by Pallante to stay with it, put it in the zone, and get that out. Here comes Schwarber with 2 outs and nobody on in the 6th. First pitch to Schwarber, swung on and missed. That 4-seam dropped at the end of its trajectory there. 0-1 on Schwarber. Missed outside with a knuckle curve, 1-1. An unorthodox shift by the Cardinals infield just because of that rule. Here is the 1-1 pitch to Schwarber. Ground ball to the right side. Nice scoop by Burleson, and he'll have out number 3. So Pallante's been excellent. 85 pitches through 6 innings. Scoreless against the Phillies. 2-0 lead for the Cardinals. And we go to the bottom of the 6th to face the Phillies bullpen. So we will have to see. All right, so since Pallante will be done soon, the Cardinals move Sajasi to short, Donovan to second. And Pallante, let's see, Pozo's still going to be the catcher, so Pajes will be out of the game next inning. So it'll be Scott, Sajasi, Pozo, as Pajes went 1 for 3, and you imagine Cardinals will just deal with the pitcher slots in the lineup for the rest of the game. That's what they're deciding to do, which means a bunch of pinch hitters at the 6 hole, which I don't mind at all. I like that strategy from Marmol. It will be Scott, Sajasi, and Pozo in the bottom half of the 6th. So a couple of high average guys. Pozo. Well, we've already looked at Pozo. I want to look at the Phillies bullpen. Let's see who they're going to go to. So we got to find the Phillies on the depth charts. Hopefully this lets me click away. There we go. Philadelphia. So they have Alvarado, Strom, Kerkering, Romano, Ruiz, Banks, Ross, and Hernandez. So this is going to be Scott. Let's see. Well, let's just see. It's Jose Ruiz. So it's going to be Scott, Sajasi, and Pozo versus Jose Ruiz. Ruiz has a 7.36 ERA so far this year. We can look at his numbers from last season very soon. First pitch way upstairs by about a foot, 1-0 on Victor Scott. Victor Scott is 0 for 2 today with 1 strikeout. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Ruiz. Hanger right in there, but he hits a ground ball to first base, and Harper gets the out. So 1 away in the bottom of the 6th, and that will bring up Thomas Saggese. Last night, Marcelo Ozuna walked off the Phillies with a deep home run over the 385 sign in a big turning point in the Braves season, potentially, although they are, let's see, they already lost to Tampa Bay today, so maybe not. 3-10 Braves. Strike 1 on Saggese with a fastball from Jose Ruiz. Saggese 6 for 13 on the year, had a single and a run scored last inning. High arcing curveball there, 1-1. So a 1-1 count on Saggese. The pitch, fastball, fouled away the other way, 1-2. You look at Ruiz's stats. Was he on the team last season? It's not looking like... Oh, yes, he was. Okay, he had 0.5 WAR with a 3.71 ERA last year. 8 home runs allowed, so a lot of home runs, but pretty good pitching. 1-2 on Saggese. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball at the top of the zone, and now there are 2 away. That will bring up Pozo. Pozo popped up the first pitch into right field, and it drops. So he found some green grass in right and hits a single, a very surprise single, but he got it. Didn't really know how to do the wing celebration, or didn't really want to after a hit like that, but it was still a hit. Great job by Pozo. Nobody could get to that one. And here comes Lars Nootbaar in the bottom of the 6th with 1 on against Ruiz. So Ruiz not having a great start to the year, but he is a guy who can give up a home run. Let's see if Nootbaar can take advantage. Nootbaar is 14 for 49 on the year with an 845 OPS and 2 home runs. First pitch to him, in there for a strike with a changeup. Great pitch from Ruiz, 0-1. Nootbaar has a single, 2 walks, and 2 stolen bases. I thought he should have been given a third, but I guess that ball was in the dirt. Here is the 0-1. Strike 2, a changeup once again. So a couple good pitches from Ruiz, pitching Nootbaar backwards, and he's ahead in the count, 0-2. With Pozo on first. The 0-2 pitch to Lars Nootbaar. They try a curveball on the outside part of the plate. He lofts it out to left, and it's an easy catch in left field. So that retires Nootbaar, and it's 2-0 Cardinals after 6. It'll be Castellanos, Kepler, and Bohm when we come back. So each side has an error in this game. Pallante has thrown 85 pitches. I'm sure he'll be able to go out there and maybe throw one more. I'm not sure if they'll want him to. But it's the bottom half of the order. I wouldn't be surprised to see him. This might be Pallante's best start of his career if he's able to do that. We look at last season. Pallante had 1.7 WAR, 20 starts for 121 innings, 3.71 FIP, and the ERA was 110 ERA plus. The ERA was 3.78, so pretty good. Very, very solid third starter. And that's what he's been so far this year. He's been a great starter. We could look at Castellanos' career. That would be fun. Let's do that real quick. Artist is his nickname. I didn't know that. 0.3 WAR, 128 OPS plus. So he's been another solid addition so far this year. Obviously played all those years with the Tigers. Spent a little bit of time with the Cubs, a couple seasons with the Reds, and a lot of time with Philadelphia. He hasn't quite lived up to the contract in Philly, but he was an All-Star in 2023. Obviously known also for being a good father, as his son's always at these games and enjoys them. We are back. It'll be Pallante, I believe, against Castellanos. First pitch called, a strike on a sinker a little below the zone, 0-1. So Pallante is out here in the 7th inning with 86 pitches, so he's expected to maybe get through this inning and then call it a day. Here's the 0-1. Missed low at the slider, 1-1. When you have a guy like Pallante who is finding the zone all game, why not try to get one more inning out of him? With some insurance warming up in the bullpen. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Castellanos. Inside with the sinker, 2-1. Castellanos is 1 for 2 today with a single in the 4th. And here's the 2-1 pitch from Pallante. Ground ball to short. Nice play made, and the out. So JC makes the play. As Donovan is at second base now. We don't have we don't have Pajes out there anymore. As the pitcher slot has entered the Cardinals' order by moving Donovan into the field. So that is still how that works. The Ohtani rule only applies to Ohtani. Ground ball to the right side. Burleson makes the play, and that's an out. And by the Ohtani rule, I just mean if you start with the pitcher, you're allowed to keep him in as the DH. So you're not allowed to switch the DH with someone else as far as positions go, because that will insert the pitcher into your lineup instead of the DH. Which makes sense. And that is why the Cardinals had to bring Pajes in instead of Donovan earlier in the game. Here is the pitch to Bohm. Missed low and away with the slider, 1-0. So Pallante throwing pitch number 92, trying to get through this final inning of the game, the 7th. Popped up, 1-1. And by that I mean Pallante's last inning. Obviously the bullpen is going to have to handle the 8th and the 9th. The 1-1 pitch to Alec Bohm. Curveball, chopped to short. Great play by Sajasi, and Pallante is through 7. A 94-pitch outing, 7 scoreless innings against the Phillies. An absolutely incredible performance today by Pallante. Great game from him. And it's 2-0 Cardinals headed to the bottom of the 7th. It'll be Walker, Donovan, Arenado against the next bullpen piece for the Phillies. You wonder if they'll stick with Jose Ruiz. We can go back and look at some more of Ruiz. And, oh, that's the wrong guy. Clicked on an old Mariner. Here we go. So yeah, 3 2/3 this season, 1.6 whip. Obviously, he brought that down against the Cardinals. A great 10-pitch inning last inning. And he's been solid for the Phillies starting last year. Now, let's see what else they have in the bullpen. Oh, I forgot to change it. So Ruiz is an option. Because it's Walker, Donovan. Who else? What is this? What's going on here? I'll have to check my other view. So because it's Walker, Donovan, Arenado, you might expect a right-handed pitcher. And Ruiz is a right-handed pitcher, but they also have Romano and Kirkering. So given that it's the top of the order, Romano's been a closer during his career. I think he might be the guy they go to here, but we will have to see. All right. All right, here we go. It is Carlos Hernandez. So they do go to a righty. They go to a different righty than I expected. He's thrown 2 innings with a 9 ERA and a 3 whip. So he's given up 6 base runners and 2 runs in those 2 innings. As the first pitch is an outside fastball, popped up to first. Stock calls off Harper for out number 1. That will bring up Brendan Donovan with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. It is the Honda home run inning in Busch Stadium, so hopefully one of these Cardinals can create some donations from Honda with a home run. I believe it's to a charity, so that would be fantastic. Here is the second pitch of the inning from Hernandez. Strike 1 to Brendan Donovan with a knuckle curve. Donovan is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a pop out. So one of his worst games of the season at the plate. Obviously, he had that bad call last time up. Hard hit ball up the middle for a base hit. And Brendan Donovan turns it around with a base hit in the 7th. So turns a bad day around after the bat was taken out of his hand by Buckner last time up. More so Walker, but at least Donovan was able to get a hit. He had a really bad inside pitch called for a strike, and it cost him his at-bat last time. 1 on, 1 out for Arenado. Arenado is 0 for 2 with a walk in this one. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Arenado hitting .295 this season with an .847 OPS. The 1-0 pitch from Hernandez to Arenado. Slider missed low and away, 2-0. Obviously a Gold Glove third baseman. Throughout most of his career, a Platinum Glove third baseman. And has been a fantastic hitter and player. The 2-0. In there for a strike, 2-1. Buckner with the delayed strike call. It was a strike, but he waited way too long to call it. And Arenado did not like that. But 2-1 on Arenado. Wearing a sweatshirt today, trying to stay warm. The 2-1 pitch. Hard hit foul. Pulled a fastball. Got around on it a little early. 2-2. So Arenado has that increased bat speed. Unable to stay patient on that fastball. Whipped it around a little early. 2-2 with Donovan on first. The pitch to Arenado. Got him with a splitter. Beautiful pitch from Hernandez. And there are 2 away in the 7th. Here comes Alec Burleson. Burleson has a walk, a hit, and an RBI in this one. The RBI came on the walk. First pitch from Hernandez to Burleson. Inside with the fastball, 1-0. On deck is Pallante's slot, so it would be a pinch hitter who would only be hitting during this plate appearance. Here's the 1-0. Missed below the zone, 2-0. And because it's the pitcher slot, you don't have to figure out anything in the field unless you want to pinch hit a guy and then do a double switch, which could be an option at first base or somewhere else. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Burleson. Swing and a miss. And Donovan's safe. He steals second base. Phillies are going to want to take a look at that potentially. I believe he was safe, got under it. But it was a good throw by the catcher. I believe Donovan just had too good of a jump. And on this replay, that is confirmed. He is safe. No doubt about that. So Donovan on second now. Burleson at the plate in the 7th. They decide to intentionally walk Burleson. That will bring up the pinch hit slot. And the Cardinals will choose Lucan Baker to face Hernandez as their pinch hitter. So you don't really expect to see a double switch. You'd probably rather have Burleson at first base regardless. The only reason to do a double switch here would be for a defensive replacement going forward. And I would personally rather have Burleson than Pajes for the range. Than Baker for the range, but we will see. First pitch to Baker. High and deep drive to left field, but he just got under it, and the play is made in left by Kepler. So 3 down, a good drive by Baker, but just got under that hanging curveball. So through 7, it is 2-0 Cardinals, and it'll be Phil Maton coming in for the 8th. We'll see if the Cardinals go Baker or Burleson at first. Probably not a big difference. And let's take a look at what Maton has done this season. So Phil Maton, coming into this game, has a 0 ERA in 7 games, 6 1/3 innings, 9 strikeouts. He has given up a couple runs, but just none earned off of him himself. He is the brother of Nick Maton, which is pretty cool. And his nickname is Spin Rate, apparently, so he must be a big proponent of that. Pretty good season from him so far, and good career. He had a great year in Houston after a bad year in 2022. So they figured out how to help him out. And he was very good with the Mets in the second half of last season after being traded there from the Rays. Above average since 2022 as far as ERA goes, but they had his WAR in the negatives with Houston in 2022. So that's a strange scenario. But all right, it'll be Phil Maton, and let's see who he'll be facing. It'll be Marsh, Marchand, and Stott, as you could see on your screen. So let's get back up to live. I'm just going to click live. Hopefully this takes me to the game. All right, perfect. Pallante. Great outing from Pallante. 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks. No runs allowed. Great game. And here we go. Marsh, Marchand, and Stott. First pitch is a sinker. Outside, 1-0. So, Marsh not having a great season. Hitting 129 with a 496 OPS. Here's the 1-0 pitch to him. Ground ball. Sajacy has to charge and gets him by a step at first base. So a great play by Sajacy. Looked like Arenado might cut him off, but he was unable to. So Sajacy had to make a heads-up throw and got him. 1 out here in the top of the 8th. And it'll be Marchand facing Phil Maton. The Cardinals did leave Burleson in at first, so We're in lockstep today. First pitch to Marchand is in there for a strike with the sinker on the outside part of the plate. So a great pitch from Maton. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss on the sweeper at the top of the zone. 0-2. So Maton really settling in, doing a great job for the Cardinals so far this season. And it looks to continue here. The 0-2. Upstairs with the cutter. 1-2. Marchand is just 0 for 2 today. No strikeouts, no walks. Not a whole lot of plate appearances for the Phillies in this one. The 1-2 pitch, check swing, foul ball. Still 1-2. Ooh. I guess that was not a check swing, foul ball. It didn't hit the bat. Just hit off the glove. So 2-2 here. The pitch. A little outside with the curveball, and the count runs full on Marchand. He has a 598 OPS with a 143 average. So almost average at the plate with that low of an average. Here's the 3-2 pitch. High fly ball to right field. Walker charging in and stops. That's a foul ball out of play. Still 3-2 on Rafael Marchand. Maton wipes his face. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Pop up. Deep to right field. Donovan drifts out and makes the play. And there's 2 outs in the top of the 8th. And that will bring up Bryson Stott at the top of the Phillies order. He is 0 for 3 today. Hitting .262 on the year with a 721 OPS and 1 strikeout in this one. Just his 4th plate appearance with 2 outs in the 8th. First pitch from Maton. A little upstairs. 1-0. So the Cardinals pitching an excellent game so far in this one. Trying to hold on to a 2-run lead. With 2 outs in the 8th. Nobody on, the 1-0. Outside, 2-0 now on Stott. Stott has 5 RBIs this season. A ground out, a foul out, and a strikeout in the game today. The 2-0 pitch to Stott. Sweeper right in the middle of the zone, 2-1. Just a get me over pitch there. Making sure he gets a strike with the 2-0 count. Here's the 2-1. Curveball missed outside, 3-1 on Stott. It would be Trey Turner on deck if Stott is able to reach. Here is the 3-1 from Maton. In there for a strike with the sinker. Great pitch. Caught the outside corner. And the count is full on Stott. This season, Stott is 1 for 10 with a full count. Trey Turner, who's hitting .250 this year, is on deck. The 3-2 from Maton. Cutter in the middle of the zone, fouled back, and we'll do it again. Tomorrow it'll be Sanchez versus Michaelis. Once again in St. Louis. The 3-2 for the second time on Bryson Stott. Hit the other way. Easy play for Nootbaar in left. And Maton does it again. Keeps his ERA perfect on the season. And it's 2-0 Cardinals midway through the 8th. So we'll see who the Phillies bring out of their bullpen in the 8th. Cardinals due up will just be Scott, Sajacy, Wynn. Sorry, Pozo. Scott, Sajacy, Pozo, as Wynn came out of the game with back spasms. And Pozo's having a good year. He's 2 for 3 today with a 4.29 average on the season. A run scored and an RBI. Obviously, the second hit was that pop up to right field, so strange one, but a hit is a hit. Hernandez threw 12 pitches last inning. You wonder if they'll stick with him. Probably not. Let's look at their options. So to face Scott, Sajacy, Pozo, that's going to be 2 righties and 1 lefty. So I would expect either they stick with Hernandez or they go to Joe Ross, as they are trailing in this one. But it is a close game. You could see a guy like Kerkering or Romano just to make sure they're in it. I'm going to call Ross. That's what I'm going to predict. Let's see. Although Ross is a long reliever, so maybe not. They will go with Tanner Banks. So Banks is a lefty. He is 33 years old. Drafted by the White Sox and signed in 2014. Interesting. So lefty-lefty matchup against Scott, but it will be lefty-righty with Sajacy and Pozo. First pitch to Scott. Up and away, ball 1. Slider above the zone. Banks has thrown 5 innings with a 1.8 ERA this season. 1.2 whip. So ERA not exactly congruent with that whip. Missed upstairs once again. 2-0 with the slider. 2-0 to Victor Scott. Missed outside, but it's called a strike on Scott. 2-1 now. Scott has 2 groundouts today and a strikeout. He is 0 for 3. The 2-1 pitch. Missed upstairs with the curveball that time. 3-1. The 3-1 pitch from Banks to Scott. Swing and a miss on the curveball at the bottom of the zone, and it's 3-2 on Victor Scott the second. The full count pitch. Swing and a miss on a sinker up and in. Scott goes down on strikes. So an unfortunate strike call on the 2-0 outside fastball ends up biting Scott. And he strikes out. 1 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 8th. Thomas Sajacy stepping up to the plate to face Tanner Banks. He has the platoon advantage. The first pitch to him. Base hit to right field. Lofted it out there past Stott. Great job by Sajacy jumping on that first pitch. And now there's 1 on and 1 out for Yohel Pozo. So he didn't waste any time. Kind of a jam shot, middle of the bat. No problem with that as long as you get it over the head of Stott. And that's what he did. So there's 1 on and 1 out. Another platoon advantage at bat with Pozo at the plate. He is 3 for 7 with a single and a double single and a double today, 2 for 3 today, 3 for 7 on the season with a home run. First pitch. Change up way up and away. 1-0. Very small strike zone for Pozo, but big strike zone from Buckner against Cardinals hitters. So we'll see which one wins out. Good pickoff attempt by Banks, but Sajasi was still able to get back. 1-0. Timeout. Pozo steps back in. The 1-0 pitch from Banks. Fired the other way. 1-1. Pozo has an RBI and a run scored in this one. 10th pitch of the inning from Tanner Banks. The 1-1 pitch to Pozo is a swing and a miss on a four-seam right down the middle. 1-2. Sajasi is on first. Potential chance to steal here. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball driven into left field for a base hit. Just over the head of Trey Turner. And there are runners at first and second now in the 8th. So Pozo continues to get singles. All sorts of hits. That's his 4th hit of the year already in just 8 at-bats. And that'll bring up Lars Nootbaar with Thomas Sajasi in scoring position and Pozo on first with 1 out in the 8th. It is a lefty-lefty matchup. Tanner Banks against Nootbaar. Nootbaar's pretty good lefty-lefty. Here's the pitch. Way up and in with a slider, 1-0. Nootbaar had to duck out of the way of that one. But he has a 1-0 count advantage in this at-bat. The 1-0. Ground ball up the middle. They step on the bag and turn 2. So a double play turned by the Phillies against Nootbaar. And there will be no challenge, it doesn't look like. So it is 2-0, and Ryan Helsley will have to come in to try to shut out the Phillies in the 9th. He might have a little bit of a flashback. He struggled to close out this team in the Wild Card Series in 2022, so maybe this will be a little bit satisfying for Helsley to finally get the chance, because he had a wrist injury in that game. Doesn't have a wrist injury today. Let's get Helsley back on track. Shut down Turner, Harper, and Schwarber in the 9th, and get the win in the first game of the series. It does feel like the Cardinals should be leading by more. They have 9 hits in this one, and just 2 runs to show for them, but C.B. Buckner behind the plate has not helped. So if we look at what Helsley's done this year, I imagine it's a little bit worse than what we're typically used to. And that is because he had a couple bad outings recently. So far this year, let's see, do they have him positive? Yeah, 0.1 WAR, 3.6 ERA, 1.8 WHIP. It's pretty high. He had that blown save against Boston. He had a couple bad years to start his career, but Cardinals stuck with him, and he became an elite player in 2022 and remained excellent in 2024. All-star both of those years. Led MLB in saves in 2024 with 49. And has that 3.60 ERA this season. So hopefully he can bring that down. Still above average, but you expect more out of a guy like Helsley. Big chance to shut down the Phillies here against the heart of their order. And we are back. So let's get into it. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. Very difficult 3 hitters to face. But if anyone can do it, Ryan Helsley can. First pitch from Ryan Helsley to Turner. Fastball chopped up the middle for a base hit by Turner on the first pitch. So there's already 1 out, and the tying run will be Bryce Harper at the plate. An aggressive approach by Turner. Just trying to get the barrel on the ball, and that's exactly what he did for a base hit. So 1 on and nobody out for Bryce Harper. Harper is 0 for 2 today with a walk and a strikeout. First pitch to him from Helsley. Slider in the zone, 0-1. Pitching Harper backwards a little bit, 0-1 on Harper. Might stay away from the fastball altogether, but I would probably throw at least 1. Here's the 0-1. Another slider at the top of the zone, 0-2. So Helsley finds the zone twice. Harper struggling to track a slider moving that fast. And it's 0-2 on the former MVP with Turner on first. Here is the pitch. Ground ball, 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Donovan ranges over and makes the play. And Turner advances to second with 1 out in the 9th. So that run probably doesn't matter to Helsley at all. Just got to focus on getting Schwarber and Castellanos. So that starts with Kyle Schwarber, who's coming up to the plate right now. First pitch to Schwarber. Strike at the top of the zone. They don't give it to Helsley, which is ridiculous, frankly. CB Buckner doing what he does best. 1-0 on Schwarber. Second pitch from Helsley. Check swing ground ball. Helsley picks it up, delivers to first, and there's 2 outs in the 9th. So the Cardinals just need to get Castellanos, and this one will be in the books. A couple plays ago, you could see Donovan ranging backward to make the play at second base. He really worked on taking those wide angles and maximizing his probability of getting to those grounders. Because the balls slow down when they're rolling like that. So that's the science behind that strategy. Good job by Donovan in his work this past season. And Helsley with a chance to close the game out. And it's a pop-up from Castellanos. Walker makes the call and the catch. And the Cardinals shut out the Phillies 2-0 in St. Louis. Great pitching all around from Pallante. Helsley to close it out. And Maton as the hold. So a great game from the Cardinals. Could have had more offensively with a little bit of help from Buckner instead of some rough calls. And all around just outplayed the Phillies today. Just 3 hits for the Phillies. An error for both teams. 7 scoreless from Pallante. 1 inning hold from Maton, who still has a 0 ERA on the year. And a shutdown save from Helsley. Great win for the Cardinals. All around. Tomorrow it'll be Michaelis on the mound. And I will be back to see that one. Guess that's it from St. Louis tonight. Thanks for watching the game with me, and I hope you have a wonderful night.